Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakadash, to Wadi Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, for giving me the spirit, power to do this lesson today. Thumb, thumb, Abanawa Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. I also want to give double honors unto the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well in sincerity, charity, peace and salutation unto the Lord's elect, the whole elect, and the 1/3. And Lord willing, I pray that this lesson is edifying and exhorting unto Akim Wath, brothers and sisters. I'm the brother Yahusaf Barak. The title of this lesson is going to be Doing the Work for the Lord is the best job one can have on this earth. Doing the work for the Lord is the best job one can have on this earth. Now, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the mundane affairs of this life, okay? Being thrown left and right through these mortal thoughts, this flesh that's weary, that's breaking down. But in the midst of that, we are given hope through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And that is the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Lord has presented unto his elect, those that were predestined to obtain this wisdom, this knowledge, and the spirit of prophecy. With that being said, we're being transitioned to immortality. Realize that it's the last days on earth. Whether you have the spirit to receive it or not, we are in the last days on earth. Prophecies are unfolding before our very own eyes. And we have work that we have to do. If the Lord called you to receive this knowledge and you are able-bodied, we have work that we have to do. And in the midst of that, we have to realize through the times where it gets difficult, we don't feel like it necessarily doing the work, we still got to show up because the Lord presented this divine ordained calling before us. This wasn't based off of our own coincidence. This wasn't something we stumbled upon because we did a wheelie or we were good at sports, whatever the case may be. No, this was something that the Lord planned out and he sent the Spirit forth at the time. That is a beautiful calling. That is a precious and rare calling. Out of the billions and billions of Israelites on this earth, the Lord chose you to do the work in some way, shape, or form, no matter what it is. No matter whether you're a sign holder, no matter whether you're doing something small or big, it's all edifying for the body. And you have to realize that. Scriptures say it's better to be a doorkeeper in the kingdom. Meaning that once we're there, man, it doesn't matter what role is assigned to us. So long that we're there, it surpasses anything that you can obtain on this earth. And most of our people are trying to be rappers, right? Trying to be singers, entertainers. But that's not what we've been called here for, man. We're called into one of the most precious things on this earth. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 GNT. After all this, there is only one thing to say, having reverence for Yahweh and obeying his commands, because this is all that we were created for. This is the elect's ultimate purpose, was to praise the name of the Lord. We're spirits put forth on this earth. Our role here is not to get caught up in the affairs of this life, okay? To get entangled, because we have been called to be soldiers. And being soldiers means doing what the Lord wants and not what we want, because the flesh can be very wicked. It can be very deceiving, and Satan can be very deceiving in knowing how to distract you in fantasies and things that are really careless compared to what the Lord really wants you to do. The scriptures do say in the book of Jeremiah 17 and 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, who can know it? And heart goes into the mind, the ab. So your mind is very wicked and it wants to do things that the spirit doesn't want. The flesh wants to do things that are contrary to the spirit. But you have to put your flesh into subjection, and you have to constantly examine yourselves day in and day out and realize what you're here for. Because Satan can really get you caught up with nonsense, with bringing things back from your past to try to, plague your mind or to elicit thoughts that end up growing bigger and bigger, and they're not holy and acceptable thoughts. And that's how he can get to you. This is Joshua 24:15. Choose you the day whom ye will serve. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So this is a lifestyle decision. Once you come to the Lord and receive this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and you obtain it, you move forward with it, you made a vow, whether it's directly or indirectly. You made a vow to serve the Lord, and you can't turn your back on it. Okay? You can't drop the plow and go back now, especially in these times that we're in, where we're so close to the very end. Okay? You have to serve the Lord. That means showing up for Him every single day, instant, in season and out of season. Okay? I want to bring that out real quick. I believe that might have been the incorrect, roughly paraphrasing line that I said, so I'm going to bring this out word for word. This is 2 Timothy 4:2-4, and I'm going to bring this out in the GNT if I can get it. Okay? So to preach the message, to insist upon proclaiming it, whether the time is right or not, to convince, reproach, and encourage as you teach with all patience. The time will come where people will not listen to sound doctrine, but will follow their own desires and will collect for themselves more and more teachers who will tell them what they are itching to hear. They will turn away from listening to the truth and give their attention to legends. So the rest of the world will not be able to obtain the beautiful mysteries of this gospel. The scriptures do say the elect have obtained it and the rest were blinded. So if you are receiving this, all right, that is a very good sign. That is a very good sign, and you are very, very important to the Lord. The fact that you were even able to get this, because you see our people, right? They're stuck in gross darkness, in wickedness, in abominations, basically a pit of filth. They're letting their sins take over them. They're just spirits that are created in vain ultimately, but the Lord predestined His elect, and He loves His elect. And if you are given that role to teach and to push out this gospel in full doctrine, truth, and sincerity, you're supposed to insist on proclaiming this message boldly and fervently, okay? Whether it's, convenient for you or not, because it's not always going to be convenient for you. You're not always going to have the energy, the motivation to go out and push lessons. When the spirit is hot, that's the time that you got to do that. And even when it's not, you still got to show up and put your best foot forward, because nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to be a walk in the park. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of pain along this way, but in the midst of that, it prepares us for the everlasting glory that is going to be before us. And this brings me to Romans 8:18-23. And I'm going to read this in the GNT as well. The future glory. I consider that what we suffer at this present time cannot be compared at all with the glory that is going to be revealed to us. All of creation waits with eager longing for Yahweh to reveal His children. For creation was condemned to lose its purpose, not of its own will, because Yahweh willed it so. Yet there was hope that creation itself will one day be set free from slavery to decay and will share the glorious freedom of the children of Yahweh. Okay, so that's just saying right there that all this glory that's going to be revealed to us cannot compare to the suffering that we have to go through right now. It's only small compared to the joy that we're going to receive. Imagine, and I say this time and time again, really meditate on this, Akim wa Akwat. Imagine being transformed into a new body where you don't have to experience pain anymore. You don't have to experience crying. Okay, we've watched so much death before our very own eyes. People that we love, things that we cared for, wash away. Okay, and we have to realize that that's just the flesh, man. That's what the flesh is, man. There's a time and a place, and this is a life of suffering. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be a happy life. We find happiness and peace through these scriptures, but through the midst of everything that we go through, okay, and all the vexation that we have to, have experienced, this prepares us for the kingdom, where we'll be presented a new body, everlasting life, immortality, okay, mansions upon mansions, riches beyond unimaginable, nothing that compares to, the fiat, fake currency that we have right now. Everything is going to be absolutely divine and perfect because the Lord is going to create it that way. And He's going to renew the earth the way that it was supposed to be, right? And you have to think in that mindset, because we are spirits passing by as pilgrims and sojourners. The scriptures do say, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against your soul. right? So you have to always remember that we have a mission. Whatever role you have a mission that you have to play. You have a role that you have to play according to this mission, and to help the body prosper. Okay, every joint supplied itself together fitly for the body itself, okay, for the functioning of the whole body. We're doing this all together in sound doctrine. So I want to continue on from verse 20 and read on down. For creation was condemned to lose its purpose, not of its own will, but because Yahweh willed it to be so. Yet there was hope that creation itself would one day be set free from its slavery to decay and would share the glorious freedom of the children of Yahweh. For we know that up to the present time of all creation with groans and pains, like the pain of childbirth, but it is not creation alone which groans. We who have the Spirit as the first of Yahweh's gifts also groan within ourselves as we wait for Yahweh to make us his children and set our whole being free. That brings tears to our eyes, because we're meant to be set free, man. We're not meant to be here and suffer, right, forever, man. If the Lord really is dealing with us, he's going to deliver us out of this, man. You got to have hope and faith in that, Been through a lot of Akim, Akwath have went through lots of pain and suffering, but you got to continue to have hope, man. And it brings me to that precept that I love bringing out in the book of Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Right? So although we don't see the kingdom right before our very own eyes, we do have much faith and hope, a faith like never before. A faith that starts off small with the grain of mustard seed, as a grain of mustard seed, but continues to grow and prosper. And that is a beautiful thing that nobody else can give you. This is only obtained through the spirit and power and will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is a free gift. Okay, you can't buy it. And that faith gotta continue to grow, man. That faith muscle gotta continue to get bigger and bigger. We do that by showing up and understanding our purpose and calling. Okay, being fervent in this. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the precepts that I have in Romans 12:1, and I'm gonna read this in the NLT: a living sacrifice to Yahweh. And so, dear brothers and sisters, as I plead with you to give your bodies to Yahweh because of all he has done for you, let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind that he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. So we worship him in spirit and truth. We make sure our actions are reflecting our words. Are we showing up and doing the work and putting our best foot forward, or are we slacking off? Are we making sure that we're always staying in the spirit as much as we can, or are we turning our minds to things that are not prospering, okay, not profitable, okay? Because the rest of the world strive for things that are corruptible, but what we're striving for is a crown that is incorruptible, that we're going to have forever, everlasting, infinitely, okay? And with that, you got to continue to present your body as a living sacrifice and really show the Lord that you care to be in this, man. But you got to really present your body as a living sacrifice. This is not your body, right? This is not what you want to do, man, right? This is not up to you. This is what the Lord wants. And you have to realize that every day. You got to examine yourself. Realize that. I'm speaking for myself here, right? So how do you do that? By doing what's holy and acceptable. You want to be a pleasing aroma unto the Lord. Praying without ceasing. Thessalonians 5:17. Quench not the spirit. Thessalonians 5:19. Filling up your cup constantly. Praying. Meditating on these precepts. Letting them hit the chords of your heart. Really living in this, man. Every single day. You should never lose sight of the hope that is set before you, man. That mission that we're on, man. To obtain that crown, which is salvation, that everlasting life, where we'll be transformed and presented new bodies, man, and being taken up from this flesh that we're in, that's breaking down day by day. Like, this is not our rest. As the book of Micah chapter 2:10 goes into, arise ye and depart, for this is not our rest. For it is polluted, and it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction. A sword destruction, polluted, defiled. This is what this earth is right now, because it's been given into the hands of the wicked. And it will never get better until the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai comes back. And that's why you see all this evil and wickedness and violence and pestilence and wars taking place. Because the rest of the world that is not on the Lord's side is going to get destroyed. The people on the left-hand side are going to get destroyed. But us, the men and women and children that are following the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, are going to obtain everlasting life. Lord willing, we pray that we are of that number. But until then, got to show up every single day. Every single day. That's what we were placed on this earth to do. Okay? Even when it gets hard, man. Even when it gets hard, you got to understand. The Lord is allowing that chastisement to happen in the first place because He's trying to grow you stronger. Right? If everything was so easy, you would get prideful. Right? You'd be all lifted up, exalting yourself. Right? No, but the Lord has to humble you, man. You got to realize that you're nothing without the Lord. I can do all things through Hamashiach that strengthens me. All right? All things through Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. And we look towards Yahweh Shai Hamashiach for salvation. Right? Because it is through the only begotten Son, who was innocent and blameless, that we are able to receive everlasting life. He shed His blood for us. Right? We can do all things through Him. Nothing is impossible without the Lord. Right? Everything is possible when you have the Lord on your side, man, fighting with you. Scriptures do say, if Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? Doesn't matter if you put 5 million people up against one person that's for the Lord's going to be on your side no matter what. Right? He will encamp the angels around you. And best believe you have assigned angels with you right now, guarding you and protecting you and making sure you're safe. So you can't have fear in what man can do. Don't have fear in what's happening right now. Don't let those mortal thoughts weigh you down, man. Don't let the flesh weigh you down. Okay? See this for what it is, man. This world, this dimension that we're living in. Right? The angels are with us, man. I'm telling you, believe that. The angels are with you right now, man. They see that you're going through it. And everything is being accounted for. The Lord understands. He's marking down every one of your tears, every one of your cries, every one of your thoughts that hurt. He knows it, man. He sees it. He wants you to come to Him. He wants you to give it all to Him. Lay it all on the table for the Lord, man. 1 Peter 5:7. Casting all your cares upon Him, for He careth for you. The Lord cares for you. He loves you, man. Precious, holy, divine. Created with a purpose. A divine purpose. A holy purpose. A special purpose. Don't lose sight of that. Wisdom of Solomon 3:1. The souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh, and no torment shall touch them. Right? So the Lord's not going to allow you to fall. The Lord's not going to allow you to get thrown into a pit full of your enemies. He's going to be with you all the way through if you're sincere, and He's predestined you for salvation. Right? The souls of the righteous. All right? Not the souls of the defiled, not the souls of the wicked, righteous. And that goes with being holy and acceptable. Right? Being holy and acceptable allows you to be righteous and walk upright. And nobody is perfect. Right? Nobody is perfect. We're trying to be, though. We're doing our best. Okay? I want to bring out, has anyone that trusted in the Lord? Trusted. It's the book of Sirach 2:10. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any that trusted in the Lord Yahweh and was confounded? Or did any abide in His fear? Was forsaken? Whom did He ever despise that called upon Him? And so the Lord's not going to allow you to be confounded, forsaken. And look at the generations of old and see. There's many accounts in these scriptures that show the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and the men and women, Akim and Akwath, that He was dealing with. From King David, all right, a small shepherd boy, without his armor, without nothing, except the sling, he was able to destroy Goliath. While everybody else was scared and had fear, King David, right, had the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He had no fear because he knew the Lord was walking with him. He trusted in the Lord with faith and hope. 144%. Look at Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. When they were thrown in the fire, all right, Yahweh Shai was with them and He delivered them out of that. Okay, and we have many accounts from Susanna, from the mother of the 7 Maccabean children that got slaughtered. Right, the Lord will put the Spirit on us in these last days to withstand anything. All right, even when everybody's looking at us like, what's going on with this person? Lord is going to put the Spirit on his men and women to withstand. You have to have faith, right? Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants and prophets. Right? So the Lord has given us these holy and hidden secrets. The rest of the world cannot understand that. Right? The millions and billions of dollars that they've had to try to get people to break things down, this is all spiritual. Right? This is given to a select few to understand and to decode. Right? And we get that through the beloved apostles and elders, bishops and teachers on down, right, who have been given this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to put forth and teach us. We're supposed to teach what was taught, right? We learn this, we receive it, we grow, and we go forth and make our own fruit through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Okay? And we're being sent forth in this timeline, at this moment in time, to preach to the elect that are scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, wherever they may be. However they may look. If they're Israelites, we are called to compel them to come in to this marriage. All right? That is our job. That is our purpose. Doesn't matter even if you called one person to this marriage. That's all you need. You've done your job, man. You've done your job. You got a fruit. They called at 99. Let me see if I can bring this out real quick. Luke 15:4. What man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doeth not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one that is lost until he find it? So we're going after those that are lost. They might not have hope at this time. We're giving them the hope through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, right? To believe, all right? We still have to do this work, man, before the famine of the word and the doors close. Doors of mercy are slowly closing, but there's still time to reach out to people that are called to hear this, right? With that being said, you have a job. You have a job to do, right? This is not time to slack. This is not time to kick your feet back and do what you want to do, because we're not at rest right now. This is not our rest, okay? Psalms 30:5. I'm going to read this in the AMP. But for his anger is for a moment, but his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may endure for a night, but shouts of joy come in the morning. So even though we're going through times of adversity, it's hard, man. There's always something going on. It's hard. But the Lord's favor is for a lifetime. If he favors you and he's dealing with you till the end, that's all that matters. Right? This is Galatians 6:9. Let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. So all these seeds we were sowing, all these lessons, these acts of work, charity, prayers, scriptures, showing up day in and day out is not going to be done in vain, so long that you're sincere and the Lord predestines you for salvation. And this is a very scary thing for those that don't understand what predestination is. All right? These people that don't believe in the Lord, their lot is ultimately to be destroyed. That's a scary and terrifying thing. But if we're on the side of the Lord, we are going to be protected. We are going to reap bountifully, right? It is like sowing hundreds and hundreds of seeds that all germinate and produce seeds and fruit of their own at that moment in time, right? But you got to continue to sow seeds. If you only sow 2 or 3 seeds out of a whole field, you're only going to really sow 2 or 3 plants, give or take, if those germinate. But if you sow hundreds and hundreds of seeds, then who knows what you can get. And that's the same thing when we're doing these lessons, doing the work. Who knows, you could fish, right? You could be fishing for the elect. Even if you get 1 or 2 views, it doesn't matter. Everything is being accounted for. Nothing is done in vain. Don't be weary. Don't faint. Don't get caught up in all that, because everything is being seen from the Lord with his eyes 10,000 times brighter than the sun, and that's what matters the most, right? And he called you with a special and divine purpose. And I want to bring this out in 2 Peter. Okay, this is a beautiful precept, and I want to end off in this. This is 1 Peter 2:9. But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Okay? I want to bring that out in GNT as well and see what comes out. And this just highlights a show that we're not perfect. The Lord didn't call people in suits and ties looking all nice and dandy to preach the scriptures like you see these Christian pastors and all these fake ass prophets out there. The Lord called those that were broken. He called those that were looked down upon. He called those with possible disabilities and ailments who didn't look, like the world expects them to look, so on and so forth. He's dealing with the broken, right? But he's dealing with the humble, right? Those that are given the knowledge to receive this, that's all that matters. 1 Peter 2:9, but you are the chosen race, the king's priest, the holy nation, Yahweh's own people, chosen to proclaim the wonderful acts of Yahweh, who hath called you out of the darkness into his own marvelous light. So you're chosen to proclaim this boldly and fervently, day in and day out. All right? Because we were once in the dark. We were in once gross darkness and filth. The Lord is using us as vessels, as utensils, to push his gospel and to call those that are also in that into this light, into this marriage, into salvation. And that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is a holy, precious, and rare calling. This is more precious than anything you can ever obtain on earth, man. Any job, any career, any crown, any title, any belt, anything. Anything that you see our people obtain now in this fleshly way doesn't compare to what we're in, man. This is an elite calling. Realize that. Meditate on that. Walk in that calling. Never give up. Never lose sight of hope no matter what happens. Right? And Lord willing, I pray that this is edifying and exhorting all you Akim wa Akwath, listening in and learning. With that being said, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wakakadash, Shalom.